Okay, so we're back as promised, and we're going to put on some Jamberries for you, and I'm going to show you a few different tips. However, the first thing I need to tell you is that prep is the most important, and my nails are already prepped. I've actually already put on my thumbs, but it's very, very important. You have invisible cuticle that needs to be pushed back. The easiest way to do this, soak your hands. Whether it be you take a shower or a bath, like I tend to do, and then push them back with your fingernail. You can actually feel the ridge there. And so if you push it back, then you'll know when you've got it all. And by soaking them, it makes them more pliable so that they will push back easier. We do have some other things that can help you with this process. We have a cuticle remover that is a little brush. You can put it on your cuticles, you let it sit for a couple of minutes, then you can push your cuticles back, wipe it off, and be done with it. There's this little nail file thing that a good friend of mine showed me. She's actually the one that gave me these nails. They're retired, called Moon Glass. I only have one, so I did my thumb. You can use that to actually file the little, you can use the corners of it to file and get them off that way. You can use an orange stick to push the invisible cuticle back. But the invisible cuticle needs to be pushed back or your wraps are not going to stay. They are going to lift, and then you're going to be calling me and asking me why it didn't work. The other next important step is to make sure that you have all the natural oils in your hands have been removed. You can use nail polish remover, acetone, whatever that word is, I can't say it. We do make a Jamberry nail prep. You just put a little bit on a paper towel, massage your nails with it. It gets all the oils off, makes them all nice and clean, and then you are ready to go. Now, I'm going to be putting on Itsy Bitsy because tomorrow we are going to Boo at the Zoo, and Ripley is going to be dressed up. I am not, however. So I'm going to be just making my nails be a little Halloweeny. So to start with, you're going to need a little pair of scissors, a heat source of some sort. I have the Jamberry mini heater, but you can use a blow dryer. I've heard of people using a toaster. I've heard of people using the heating element on their stove. I recommend a mini heater, but whatever you've got, you can make it work. A good friend of mine actually did hers using the heat in her car and the heated seats to heat them afterwards, which I'll show you. So you're going to need the scissors. You're going to need some tweezers. You're going to need a file. And then the rest of the tools that I'm going to show you are going to be optional, but I will show you the tricks. Okay, so we're going to do my pinky. What you're going to do is you're going to pick which one works on your nail. I already know it's my pinky, so I'm going to cut the amount that I need for my pinky, and I'm going to take my tweezers, and my mom is trying to call me right now. So then you're going to lift it up by the edge. You're going to hold it with the design side facing the heating element and heat it up until it curls. And then You're going to carefully place it where you want it on your nail. And you can pick it up and move it if you need to. Do not let your fingers touch where it's going on your nail. It's okay if your fingers touch on the end, because that part isn't actually going to be on your nail. And I'm sort of a perfectionist, so this may take me a few tries. You can also reheat it if it starts to not stick anymore. Just means that the glue is cooled off. So once you have it in place, you want to push down from the middle out to the edges, like so. Then I use this extra and I yank it to make sure that this edge that is on the end is smooth with no wrinkles. And then this is where the different tricks can come in. You can use a cuticle pusher. I have a plastic one right here to smooth out and push down. Okay. Then you're going to take your scissors and trim this extra edge without actually cutting your fingernail. Just the edge. It's okay if a little bit hangs off. Okay. So then my favorite method is the baggy method. Here I have a piece of a sandwich bag. I cut off the closing part and I cut off the ends. I'm going to take it and wrap it tightly around my nail and hold it in front of the heat again. This puts pressure and heat at the same time and seals your edges. Okay? You could also use the nail spoon that you have gotten hot. If you don't have a nail spoon, you could use anything metal, like your tweezers. I've heard of using a butter knife. I've heard of using a hair straightener. A lot of different things that you can use, but you want it to be really hot. And then you just want to use it to seal your edges, like so. Some people use all three methods. You do not need to use all three. But there you go. Okay. Then I'm going to go ahead and do my other pinky, simply because you have to let this one cool down a little bit before you file the edges, which is your last step. So I'm going to go ahead and do the other pinky. While the first pinky cools down, Ripley is apparently deciding to play some video games. So if you see my TV doing weird things in the background, that is Ripley. Now, you do not want this to touch your skin. Jamberry will not stick to skin. So you want to have a little bit of a gap between your nail and the skin. I don't know if you can actually see the gap, but there is a gap there. You can't see it head on, so don't worry about that. It is only from the sides, and nobody else is going to be looking at your nails as closely as you will be. I'm going to trim this right here. I'm not as good with my left hand as I am with my right. I'm going to do the baggy method. That's my preferred method. And then before I remove the baggie, I just press down and make sure that it is all set. And there you go. Now we have 2 nails done. Now you take your nail file. I actually have several when Ripley does not run off with them. And you want to file at a 90-degree angle. You could file at a little bit more of an angle if you use your nails a lot for tools, because then it will leave a little bit of your nail sticking out at the end, so you're not using the Jamberry itself when you're using your tools. But by filing at a 90-degree angle, you will get off the little bit of excess. See the little bit of excess that's sticking up right there that is starting to file off? You will file that little bit of excess off, and Ripley's going to show you the remote. And then once you've got that little bit of excess off, once again, only up and down. You do not want to file sideways. Actually, you only want to file down, not up, because you can make it lift. But there you go, the finished product. We'll be back checking in with you in just a little while later. I'm going to check out what Ripley's been doing. Thank you.